Learning English becomes much easier when you listen to stories, especially biographies of great leaders who changed the world. Today, we are going to talk about one of the most inspiring figures in history, Mahatma Gandhi. This will be an incredible journey full of lessons, emotions, and powerful moments. Step by step, I will take you through his life, from the very beginning to his death. So, grab a cup of tea or coffee, sit back, and get ready to improve your English while learning about the man who taught the world about truth, non-violence, and the power of simplicity. Mahatma Gandhi was born on 2nd October 1869 in a small town called Porbandar, located in present-day Gujarat, India. His full name was Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, but later, people began to call him Mahatma, which means great soul. Let's start from his childhood. Mohandas was born into a Hindu family. His father, Karamchand Gandhi, was the chief minister of Porbandar, and his mother, Putlibai Gandhi, was a deeply religious woman. Putlibai followed strict rituals such as fasting and praying, and her simple lifestyle and deep spirituality left a lasting impression on young Mohandas. As a child, Gandhi was quiet and shy. He was neither very strong nor particularly brave. In fact, he was afraid of many things, including the dark. However, he had a deep sense of curiosity and an eagerness to learn. He especially loved listening to stories, which sparked his imagination and shaped his beliefs in truth and morality. As a child, Gandhi loved listening to stories from Indian epics like the Ramayana and Mahabharata, which taught him about truth and good behavior. When he was around 13 years old, he was married to Kasturba Gandhi, a girl of the same age. At that time, child marriage was common in India, but it was still a life-changing moment for young Gandhi. He later said that he learned a lot from Kasturba, as she was a strong and independent woman who supported him throughout his life. After finishing school in India, Gandhi decided to become a lawyer. In 1888, at the age of 18, he left for London, England, to study law. It was his first time leaving India, and he faced many challenges. He struggled with speaking English fluently and adapting to British culture. He often felt lonely and missed his family, but he did not give up. While in London, Gandhi learned about Western ideas but remained deeply connected to his Indian roots. He started eating simple vegetarian food, following his mother's teachings. During this time, he began reading books about different religions, including Hinduism, Christianity, and Islam. These books shaped his belief that all religions teach love and truth. Gandhi completed his law studies in 1891 and returned to India, hoping to start a successful career as a lawyer. However, things didn't go as planned. He was shy and nervous in court, making it difficult for him to argue cases. It seemed as if his dream of becoming a great lawyer was slipping away. Then, in 1893, at the age of 24, Gandhi received an offer to work in South Africa. A businessman from Gujarat, Dada Abdullah, needed legal help for his business and invited Gandhi to assist him. Thinking it would be a temporary job for just 1 year, Gandhi accepted the offer. But little did he know, this journey would change his entire life. Nonviolent resistance. Instead of using violence to fight back, he believed in peaceful protests, civil disobedience, and unity. This idea would later become the foundation of his life's work. The train incident was just the beginning. As Gandhi observed more injustices in South Africa, he realized how deeply Indians and other people of color were oppressed. They were not allowed to vote, were forced to carry special passes, and were treated with no respect. Instead of accepting this treatment, Gandhi started speaking to the Indian community and organizing them to stand up for their rights. Gandhi's approach was different from traditional resistance. He rejected violence and instead promoted non-violent resistance, a method he called satyagraha, meaning truth force or soul force. His belief was simple: if people refused to cooperate with an unjust system in a peaceful way, the oppressors would eventually have to listen. He began leading protests, boycotts, and strikes, urging Indians in South Africa to refuse to follow unfair laws. He encouraged them to burn their special passes, which were used to control their movements. Even when he and his followers were beaten and arrested, they did not fight back. They endured everything with dignity and courage. Over the years, Gandhi's non-violent movement gained momentum. More and more people joined him in his fight against injustice. His efforts eventually led to some improvements in the treatment of Indians in South Africa. However, Gandhi knew his true mission was not just in South Africa. His people in India also needed him. After spending 21 years in South Africa, Gandhi returned to India in 1915, ready to lead his homeland toward freedom from British rule. His experiences in South Africa had transformed him from a shy young lawyer into a fearless leader of non-violent resistance, a leader who would change the course of history. Struggles for Indians. Gandhi knew that the fight for justice in South Africa was just the beginning. His true mission was to free India from British rule. Upon returning to India in 1915, Gandhi began traveling across the country, observing the struggles of the common people. He saw farmers burdened with heavy taxes, workers exploited in factories, and villagers living in extreme poverty. He realized that India's freedom struggle was not just about independence, it was about justice, equality, and dignity for all Indians. Gandhi continued to follow his principle of non-violent resistance, or satyagraha. He believed that if Indians refused to obey unjust British laws peacefully, the British would have no choice but to leave India. Over the next few years, Gandhi became the voice of the Indian people, leading major movements that shook the foundation of British rule. One of his first major acts of resistance was the Champaran movement, 1917, where he helped poor farmers who were forced to grow indigo instead of food crops. Through peaceful protests, he convinced the British to change their exploitative policies. This victory made Gandhi a national leader and proved that non-violent resistance worked. Gandhi's return to India marked the beginning of a new era in the country's fight for independence. His simple lifestyle, powerful ideas, and fearless leadership inspired millions. He was no longer just Mohandas Gandhi, he had become Mahatma Gandhi, the great soul, a leader who would change the destiny of India forever. Believed that unity among different religious communities was essential for a strong and free India. By supporting the Khilafat movement, Gandhi gained the trust of many Muslim leaders and strengthened the national struggle against British rule. During the same period, another major event shook India, the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, 1919. British troops, led by General Dyer, opened fire on thousands of innocent men, women, and children who had gathered peacefully in Amritsar. Hundreds were killed, and thousands were injured. This brutal attack outraged Gandhi and millions of Indians. It became clear that the British had no respect for Indian lives. In response, Gandhi launched the Non-Cooperation Movement, 1920–1922, urging Indians to boycott British goods, schools, and government jobs. He encouraged people to use khadi, hand-spun cloth, instead of British textiles and to become self-reliant. For the first time, millions of Indians participated in a mass movement, refusing to cooperate with British rule. However, the movement was called off after an incident at Chauri Chaura, 1922, where protesters turned violent and set a police station on fire, killing officers inside. Gandhi was deeply saddened. He believed that non-violence was the only way to win freedom, and he decided to pause the movement to ensure that the struggle remained peaceful. Despite the setback, Gandhi had already awakened the spirit of resistance among Indians. He had shown them that they had the power to challenge British rule without violence. His leadership was now undisputed, and the path to independence had truly begun. Historic journey from Sabarmati Ashram to Dandi, a coastal village in Gujarat. This journey, covering 240 miles, 385 kilometers, became known as the Salt March. As Gandhi and his followers walked from village to village, thousands of Indians joined him along the way. The march symbolized defiance against British oppression in a peaceful manner. On 6 April 1930, Gandhi reached the shores of Dandi and picked up a handful of salt from the ground, breaking the British salt laws. This simple act became a powerful symbol of resistance. It inspired millions of Indians to start making their own salt and openly defy British authority. The movement spread across the country, and thousands were arrested, including Gandhi himself. The Salt March was a turning point in India's freedom struggle. It gained international attention, and people around the world started supporting India's fight for independence. Gandhi's philosophy of non-violent resistance, satyagraha, was now recognized globally. Despite facing prison and hardships, Gandhi remained committed to his cause. His peaceful protests and unwavering determination shook the foundations of British rule in India, bringing the country one step closer to independence. Heartbroken by the communal violence that erupted between Hindus and Muslims, the partition of India led to massive riots, killings, and displacement of millions of people. Gandhi, who had always preached peace and unity, traveled to riot-affected areas, trying to stop the bloodshed. He fasted to bring peace, urging people to set aside their hatred and live together as brothers. His efforts to unite Hindus and Muslims, however, angered some extremists. On 30th January 1948, while Gandhi was on his way to a prayer meeting in New Delhi, he was assassinated by Nathuram Godse, a man who opposed his ideals of peace and religious harmony. Gandhi's death was a shock to the entire world. Millions mourned the loss of the man who had led India to freedom through non-violence and truth. Even after his passing, Gandhi's legacy continues to inspire movements for peace, justice, and civil rights around the world. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, and the Dalai Lama followed his principles of non-violence to bring about change. Gandhi's message of truth, simplicity, and love remains relevant today, reminding us that even the most difficult battles can be won with peace, courage, and determination. Despite being one of the most influential figures in history, Gandhi remained humble and dedicated to his principles of non-violence, truth, and simplicity. His final days were spent trying to heal the wounds of a divided nation. Even though he had achieved independence for India, he felt that his true work, uniting the people in love and harmony, was still unfinished. On 30th January 1948, while Gandhi was walking to a prayer meeting in New Delhi, he was assassinated by Nathuram Godse, a man who opposed his vision of Hindu-Muslim unity. His last words were, "Hey Ram," a call to God that reflected his lifelong faith. The news of his death shocked the entire world. Millions mourned, and leaders from all over the globe paid tribute to the man who had fought for freedom through peace. Though Gandhi's physical life ended that day, his legacy lives on. His teachings have inspired countless movements for peace, civil rights, and justice. From Martin Luther King Jr. in the United States to Nelson Mandela in South Africa, leaders have followed his philosophy of non-violent resistance to bring about change. Today, Gandhi remains a symbol of courage, simplicity, and the power of truth, reminding the world that even the most difficult struggles can be won through peace and determination. Gandhi spent his final days in deep prayer, spinning his charkha, spinning wheel, and meeting people from all walks of life. His mission remained the same, to uplift the poor and improve the lives of the untouchables, whom he lovingly called Harijans, meaning children of God. He strongly believed that every human being, regardless of caste, religion, or background, deserved respect and dignity. On 30th January 1948, a tragic event shook the world. Gandhi was in Delhi, staying at Birla House, where he held daily evening prayer meetings. As he walked toward the prayer ground that evening, a man named Nathuram Godse approached him. Godse, angry at Gandhi for what he believed was excessive kindness toward Muslims and his role in the partition of India, pulled out a gun and shot him 3 times in the chest. Gandhi collapsed to the ground, and his last words were, "Hey Ram, O God." The news of his assassination shocked the world. In India, people mourned deeply, and millions attended his funeral. His ashes were immersed in the holy Ganges River, a final tribute to the man who had devoted his life to peace and justice. Though he was gone, his teachings continued to inspire generations. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. in the United States and Nelson Mandela in South Africa followed his philosophy of nonviolent resistance to fight against oppression. Mahatma Gandhi's story is not just about India's independence, it is about courage, truth, and the power of determination. He proved to the world that even in the face of impossible challenges, nonviolence and unwavering faith in justice could bring about great change. His life remains a powerful reminder that with strength, love, and belief in our values, we can achieve extraordinary things. As we reflect on his greatest lessons, we are reminded to strive to be better, stronger, and more compassionate human beings. Gandhi's life was filled with valuable lessons that continue to inspire people around the world. Lesson 1: Nonviolence is the greatest power. Gandhi proved that violence is never the answer. He believed in ahimsa, nonviolence, as the most powerful weapon. Imagine standing up against one of the strongest empires in the world without using guns or bombs. Gandhi did exactly that. He taught that patience, love, and truth can conquer even the greatest enemies. In our own lives, whether at school, work, or in relationships, his message reminds us to handle conflicts with calmness and kindness. No matter how tough things get, we always have the choice to choose peace over anger. Lesson 2. Stay true to your principles. Gandhi deeply believed in truth, calling his life an experiment with truth. For him, being honest with himself and others was more important than anything else. Even when people doubted or criticized him, he remained committed to his beliefs. This is a lesson for all of us. When we have dreams and goals, the world may try to pull us down. Some may say we are not good enough or that our dreams are too big. But Gandhi teaches us to never compromise on our values. If we believe in ourselves and act with honesty, nothing can stop us from achieving our dreams. Lesson 3. Small actions can change the world. When Gandhi spun khadi, hand-woven cloth, or picked up salt at Dandi, many people laughed at him, thinking these were small, meaningless acts. However, he showed that even the smallest steps can create the biggest changes. In life, we often feel our efforts are too small to matter, but Gandhi's example proves otherwise. No dream is too far if we take one small step every day toward our goal. Lesson 4. Simplicity is the key to happiness. Gandhi lived a simple life. He wore hand-woven clothes, ate plain food, and had no material wealth, yet he was content. Today, many of us believe that fancy clothes, big houses, or expensive things will bring happiness. But Gandhi's life teaches us that true happiness comes from within, from kindness, gratitude, and living a meaningful life. Lesson 5. Never give up. Perhaps the most inspiring part of Gandhi's life was his determination. Despite facing arrests, violence, and criticism, he never abandoned his mission. His story is proof that no matter how impossible something seems, with faith and persistence, we can achieve great things. Fighting against an empire as powerful as the British must have been incredibly difficult for Gandhi. He was jailed, beaten, criticized, and even betrayed, yet he never gave up. Gandhi believed that every failure was just a step toward success. His famous words, "First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win," perfectly describe his journey. This is a lesson for all of us. No matter how many obstacles come our way, we must never stop fighting for our dreams. We might fail once, twice, or even 100 times, but as long as we keep going, success will eventually come. Even today, people around the world look to Gandhi for guidance. His life proves that no matter where you come from or how small you feel, you can make a difference. In India, his face appears on all currency notes, symbolizing his role as the father of the nation. The image used on the currency comes from a famous 1946 photograph where Gandhi is smiling warmly, a smile that represents peace, simplicity, and hope. As we reflect on Gandhi's life, we see a shining example of courage and determination. He was not born rich or powerful. He was an ordinary man who believed in extraordinary things. His dream was to free India, and he achieved it, not with weapons, but with his heart, mind, and soul. His story reminds us that we don't need to be perfect or have everything figured out to achieve great things. All we need is courage, determination, and self-belief. Gandhi once said, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." This means that if we want the world to be a better place, we must start with ourselves. Work hard, stay honest, and never stop dreaming. Gandhi's life may have ended, but his spirit lives on in every person who fights for truth, justice, and freedom. He is not just the father of the nation, he is a father figure to the world, showing us how to live with purpose and compassion. Let Gandhi's story remind you that greatness lies within all of us. No matter what challenges you face, you are stronger than you think, braver than you know, and capable of amazing things. Keep going, never give up, and, just like Gandhi, change the world. Thank you for listening. What lessons did you learn from his story?